weighing in at 500 pounds. She just came to the pool for a swim, but the splash she made was so big that it instantly annoyed 3 of her classmates. Faced with the kids who'd been bullying her for years, the chubby girl could only hide underwater in fear. But when she surfaced again, she suddenly realized her clothes had been taken by her classmates. Seeing her best friend still on the shore, she quickly called out for help, only to watch that same best friend snatch away her last towel. That was enough to make Sarah furious. Helpless, she had no choice but to run home in her swimsuit. She hadn't gone far when she made a horrifying discovery. The classmate who'd stolen her clothes was lying on the ground, covered in blood. Sarah wanted nothing to do with it, but just then a van came speeding toward her. She pressed herself against the curb to let it pass, only for the van to suddenly stop. A blood-soaked hand appeared from behind the window, and Sarah was terrified. Was she about to run into a killer? Just as Sarah was panicking, she realized the person tied up inside the van was her so-called best friend, the one who'd stolen her towel. But Sarah was too frightened to even think about rescuing her. Unexpectedly, the driver opened the door, looked Sarah up and down, and simply dropped a towel on the ground. Only then did Sarah realize this man meant her no harm. She thanked him, but he just glanced at her and drove off. Not wasting another second, Sarah grabbed the towel and ran home. Once inside, her heart wouldn't stop pounding. She ate a piece of cake to calm herself down, replaying everything that had just happened. After hesitating for a long time, she decided to call the police. But when she opened her computer, she found her best friend had posted online calling her whole family a bunch of pigs. Furious, Sarah abandoned the idea of calling the cops and decided she'd never lift a finger for that girl again. That very night, though, her friend's mother showed up at the door. She hadn't been able to reach her daughter and came to ask Sarah some questions. But Sarah's mother sent her away immediately. She'd seen that insulting post too. Only after the woman left for good did Sarah finally relax. Then it hit her. Her phone was still in the bag her classmates had taken. If someone found it first, she'd never be able to explain herself. To avoid getting dragged into the kidnapping, Sarah quietly stole her father's phone and snuck into the woods at midnight to look for her backpack. When she called her own number from her dad's phone, sure enough, it started ringing in the bushes nearby. But just as she was about to grab the bag, footsteps sounded behind her. It was the man who'd kidnapped her classmates earlier. Sarah froze in terror, but he had no intention of hurting her. He grabbed her hand and pulled her into hiding. It turned out the classmate's mother had brought people to search the area. After a thorough sweep, all they found was a severed finger on the ground. The mother broke down completely, convinced her daughter was dead. Sarah took the chance to slip back home. The next day, the mother showed up again. Someone had seen Sarah with her daughter the day before. Sarah was taken to the police station for questioning. The officers told her to come clean about everything she knew, since lives were at stake. Reluctantly, Sarah told them she'd been at the pool and had been bullied by her classmates, but she knew nothing about their disappearances. Seeing the police about to pressure her daughter further, Sarah's mother couldn't take it anymore. She insisted her daughter never lied, grabbed Sarah, and stormed out of the station. But the moment they got home, her mother warned her not to go out. She'd already guessed Sarah was somehow connected to the kidnapping. While doing laundry, she'd found a towel soaked in blood. She confronted Sarah, demanding to know what she'd done. Terrified, Sarah insisted she hadn't done anything, but her mother refused to believe her. As the argument escalated, something inside Sarah finally snapped. She screamed that all 3 of those classmates deserved to die. Her mother was livid and raised her hand to slap her, but the kidnapper suddenly appeared and stopped her. While Sarah trembled in fear, her little brother yelled from the bathroom that they were out of toilet paper. The killer heard this and was about to go silence him, but Sarah blocked his path. It seemed this killer had taken a liking to Sarah. He led her out to his car. Just then, a group of thugs who'd often bullied Sarah showed up outside. Without a word, the man floored the gas and drove straight at them, sending them scrambling in terror. He drove off with Sarah, and still made no move to hurt her. Instead, he thoughtfully handed her her favorite cake. Sarah was overcome with conflicting emotions. No man had ever been this kind to her in her entire life. That's when she noticed her necklace, the one she'd lost days ago, sitting in the car. The man, caught off guard, quickly hid it away, but because he'd taken his eyes off the road, they crashed into a tree. Sarah was knocked unconscious. The man had no choice but to carry her back to his place and carefully tended to her wounds. When Sarah woke up, she found herself in a sealed-up warehouse. As she wondered where she was, she spotted 2 of her classmates hanging in midair. Without thinking, she rushed over to untie the cloths around their mouths. But their first words weren't thanks. They asked if she'd called the police. Sarah didn't even have time to answer. They were tied too high up. The next thing she knew, they were screaming insults at her, calling her useless and good for nothing but eating. Sarah couldn't believe it. She'd come to save them, and this was the thanks she got. Just as she was yelling back in frustration, the man returned. Sarah scrambled into a corner to hide, but he quickly noticed his prey had been tampered with. He realized Sarah was awake and started calling her name. Terrified, she ran for her life. But as she ran, she stumbled upon a body lying on the ground, cut clean in half. It was the classmate who'd bullied her the worst. Sarah screamed at the top of her lungs, and that scream was all the man needed to track her down.